Yeah, so I grew up in Washington, D.C. And I was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't great at school. Really struggled through school. Had a lot of like learning disabilities, but like maybe before they really knew about any of that kind of stuff, right? So I just kind of struggled. Ended up dropping out at one point when I was, I guess I was like 15, 16. And I'd been kicked out of a couple of schools and kind of out of options. And I ended up going to a kind of like reform school in Idaho. Out in like, I pretty much like worked on a farm. So it was like you spent a part of your day working on the farm and then part of your day at school, and it was just year-round school. So I just lived there for 2.5 years until I graduated.
About 17, 15, 17, 16, 17, out of school from DC, the whole DC, like, then just switch over and learn the whole Idaho, just form agriculture life, because
culture shock.
Definitely. So how was that, like family, or was that like they just up and move? Okay, so
yeah, I mean, I was kind of in a lot of trouble with the law at that time, and just dumb shit, graffiti and drugs and
you like art too?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was always like very artistic. I was into photography and all those things. So when I was actually out in Idaho, I got to do like an apprenticeship with a photographer out there, and so I shadowed an action photographer. So he did like snowboarding, skiing, wakeboarding in the summer, all these things, and so I got to learn action photography. And decided that's probably kind of like what I wanted to get into.
Wow.
And so when I graduated, I went to college in Salt Lake City, Utah, because I wanted to be right next to like the mountains for snowboard, ski photography type stuff. And again, school didn't work out super well for me, the college side of things. And so I ended up getting a couple jobs, and I was like washing cars in the morning. Like I just like went to my friends. I'm like, one of my friends managed a car wash, and then like all of us hung out at this pool hall. It was kind of like an upscale pool hall, like with like craft beer at the time.
So under 21, after 21, around.
I'm under 21 at this time.
Still.
So but we still hung out at bars with big IDs. And so I got a job cooking there at night and washing dishes. And I hated the car wash, but my friend managed it. And so I was actually thinking of going back to school. And I went and saw like a kind of like career psychologist kind of guy, those
aptitude.
Yeah, and he was pretty much like, don't go back to school. He was like, you're kind of like repeating the same things and expecting a different result. And he's like, why don't you think about trying culinary school? And he's like, it's like maybe just something. He's like, the way you learn hands-on through repetition. I have like a processing disorder, so I have a really hard time with memory. And even once I learn things, like accessing those things, unless it's something physical that I've done. So like if I like do things a number of times over and over again, like cooking or whatever, I learn that really, really well. So he's like, you're liking your job cooking, like why don't you give this a shot? And I did. And I mean, same thing kind of happened, like skills classes and everything like that. I excelled at classroom shit that I really struggled with. And I moved on from the kind of pool hall, bar and grill kind of place to a fine dining restaurant up in the ski resorts with this like really amazing up and coming chef.
Okay.
And it was hell.
Still in Idaho?
No. Sorry, I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Utah.
Yeah.
Okay. So to go back a little bit, back to the farm, were there anything that was unusual y'all was growing, or was it just like regular potatoes and like just carrots?
We grew like some small amounts of vegetables, but a lot of it was actually animals.
Okay, so all right.
So we had like pigs, we had goats, we had llamas and alpacas.
Okay, it's like a butcher thing. So you saw like slaughterhouse and any of that stuff, or just having just a farm,
just a farm. And they would breed the pigs and the goats and stuff like that, and they would sell those.
Oh, so you breeding animals to sell the animals. That's how they're making money.
I mean, it was a school, so they didn't like the farm part wasn't like necessarily a for-profit farm, if that makes sense.
Oh, so it was a school that was doing like a trade, like you work here, but you learn like a job course.
Yeah, similar.
Okay, I understand. All right. Okay, so then fast forward, you were cooking at the ski resort under this bad chef. You were just about to say it was like going down.
Like I had talked to myself maybe above what I could actually do, and I got a job on the line there, and it was like 12-course tasting menus and stuff like that.
Dang.
There was like 20 different sauces in little copper pots, and like you had to kind of know every single aspect, and I did not. So very quickly it was apparent that I didn't belong on that line. And the chef sat me down and he said, I think he hated me at that time especially. He's like, look, man, you don't really belong here. He's like, you can either go to the basement, become a prep cook down there, or you can get out. Yeah, it was a basement prep kitchen, and I think he was hoping I would leave, but I went to the basement and became a prep cook, and it was the best decision I've ever made. Like we were flying in fish from all over the world, and like this guy was like cooking crazy stuff. I got to learn how to build all the sauces, all of his sauces, from scratch, and all like built and layered sauces. All the fish butchery, all the meat butchery. I got to learn, basic pastry fundamentals and stuff like that, because they would prep like a lot of the desserts and stuff. Really worked on my speed for prepping. Like they harassed me a lot. Like they would give me like bags of onions and time me and yell at me while I was peeling onions and stuff. Not a great environment, but I did get pretty good and got pretty fast. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Really good farewell.
I know. I heard he was leaving.
He's leaving. He's not going far.
I know. I saw him when they were leaving yesterday.
Yeah.
Everything was all right?